On this episode of the podcast, we discuss OBJ signing to the Ravens and will that keep Lamar in Baltimore. The Rays have a historic start to 9-0, and we discuss the Masters and more. Stay tuned, guys.
Been lit, boy. Everything goes.
We now return you to regular programming.
What is up, guys, and welcome back to the Everything Goes podcast. If y'all are watching on YouTube, say hello to our faces. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, just sit back and listen to our voices. Hey, random Taysom Hill stat that I just randomly thought maybe I'll start adding in the podcast weekly. 32 total touchdowns in his career. He's 19. We are 19-4 when Taysom Hill scores a touchdown. Just throwing that out there. I don't know what's going on with the Timberwolves, but obviously some WWE, MMA kind of stuff might be happening down there as
and the Clippers.
Their play-in game might be in serious trouble here. The Masters is going on, or it was going on, so we got a lot to talk about with there. We have to talk about the Rays' historic start as they are 9-0. There's a lot to talk about. It was Easter over the weekend. We hope y'all had a great Easter, and we're ready to dive into this. You know,
Yo, 2 weeks and 3 days until the draft.
I wrote that in my notes. Countdown to the draft.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dude, apparently 5 or 6 teams have been calling the Cardinals for to trade their draft pick for
the top 3.
I just hope to God it's not the Cowboys. I hope it's
where
the
the Cowboys out? Where are they at in the pack?
26th.
Never
Trade up. You always trade back.
Right,
you never trade up.
I
think you guys are 20th, 21st.
Yes.
If you saw 29. Yes. If you saw that. Breaking news, Cowboys traded with the Cardinals to the number 3 pick. What's going through your mind? Who are they taking?
Probably a running back. I'm going to be so pissed.
Would you though? Like if they got Bijan Robinson, boom, right there. Dallas Cowboys select Texas running back Bijan Robinson.
You don't have to jump the freaking
got Jerry Jones in the background. No, we're about to go win a Super Bowl here. We got our number 1 running back.
No, I'm sorry. I don't ever trade up. I trade down. You benefit more from it.
Yeah.
Why would I want to trade up to the 3rd pick to overpay a running back who we just got rid of an overpaid running back?
Yeah, you can't get I don't think you can get a running back that high, but I don't know. They don't need a quarterback, so that wouldn't make sense if it's the Cowboys either.
Well, hey, Dak is in year 8.
Though.
Dak is in year 8, and Dak is on the hot seat. I don't care what anyone says, Cowboy fans. I don't care. Dak Prescott is on the hot seat this year, and so is Mike McCarthy, because they went all in this year. And
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
I'm a Dallas fan. If Dak loses first round out, or they don't make the playoffs with no injuries or anything like that, Dak's gone in my eyes. Just off the top of your mind, real quick, if you guys just clear your mind with me for a second, clear your mind, clear thoughts. Jalen Hurts, top 10 what QB? What is he in your eyes? Top what QB
in the NFL?
Based off last season, right now, just off top of your head, what's the first number that pops 10. In your head?
Top 10, yeah. In the NFC, top 2.
I'd say top 5.
Yeah, I think he's top 2 in the NFC.
NFC, yeah. I mean, NFC off last year, I'd say top 1.
You guys threw me for a loop. I didn't know we were going to talk about.
We were. I was kind of following the flow, and we just kind of just a little game I wrote down. I just had it right here. Just Jalen Hurts.
Oh, okay. Who's ahead of him if he's top 5, or who's
in the NFL?
Who is worse than him? Yeah.
So if I said he's top 5, I think based off last year in the NFL, and I think ahead of him, I'd probably throw in there, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen,
Joe Burrow.
I don't, but Joe Burrow did he have a better record? I mean,
I don't care about record.
You might even be able to say top 3.
Record is a team thing. I'm talking about stats, overall quarterbacks. I'd put Tom Brady ahead of him.
Oh boy, that's the low blow.
It's not. Tom Brady is still a good quarterback. He had offensive line problems.
That is true. But when you look at the totality, I don't know. Hurts can still move a lot. At this point in the career, I almost got to say Hurts. But
I think I would change.
Herbert ahead of him, Deshaun Watson ahead of him, Lamar Jackson ahead of him.
Based off last year?
Yeah.
No shot.
Look, I'm not talking about stats. I'm talking about if I had to pick a quarterback right now, I'm
Okay,
picking all those quarterbacks over Jalen Hurts.
If we were in Madden right now and we're doing a franchise mode where every player is on the board and you're up, right? And you have these are your quarterbacks left because you're later in the draft. You have Deshaun Watson. You have who'd you say? You have Deshaun Watson. Let's put out there Kirk
Lamar,
Cousins.
Dak, Kirk Cousins.
No. We're gonna do Lamar, Kirk Cousins, Deshaun Watson, and Jalen Hurts. And you're telling me you're not gonna pick Jalen Hurts over those three?
No.
Wow. That's your opinion. I respect it.
It's just 1 year. I mean, that's 1 year of good stats.
But you've seen him progressively get better and better every year, though.
He's still a quarterback that's not
Watson.
100%. I think you take Watson out of that equation.
Jackson.
Yeah, but I'm not going off of Watson last year. I'm going off of Watson from the Texans. Watson from the Texans was a great quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, look, I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback.
No, I agree.
I'm not saying that at all.
I agree.
I'm just saying he's a quarterback that has flaws, just like every other quarterback.
100%,
these other quarterbacks
100%.
have been in the league. I've seen more of what they can do. I'm taking those quarterbacks over him because, for all you know, they pay him $50 million next year, and he comes out and he wins 2 games.
Now nobody wins.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys taking Derek Carr over Baker Mayfield?
Yes.
Why is there a long pause?
Yeah, I got it.
Why is there
It
a long
seems so
pause?
obvious to say yes, but then, it seems obvious to say yes, but then I thought, I'm like, yeah, it makes sense.
But my thing is Baker a bad quarterback?
I'm honestly intrigued to see him in Tampa Bay.
I mean, this is going to be his telling tale right here. He's going to be with a team that has good weapons. Yeah. I mean, he did play great with the Rams. He did play great at times. Look, he's Tony Romo, man. He's Tony Romo. He's Brett Favre. He's a gunslinger. He's gonna make you happy. He's gonna make you cry in the same game.
Will he ever?
When I was bowling, they had an old school Brett Favre game on versus the Raiders, and I was thinking the whole time, like, dang, my dad was probably like 10 or 15 watching this game, and I wasn't even born yet. Hey, while we're talking about this stuff, I'll just follow the flow real quick. I wanted to get your guys' opinion on this because I think last time we had a podcast, we talked about Cam Newton trying out his pro day at Auburn, and we talked about would you take him as a backup or not. I know I said I would at least take him as a backup. I forget what you guys said, but I also defend him and said I do believe that he could be a starter. That I think there are some guys that he's better than, at least a couple. But I do respect him for coming out, and he came out with a list the other day and said, these are quarterbacks that I would back up. And what I liked about it is 90% of them are young athletes, like young guys. I'm going to read you the list that he came out with. It's not that big. So Cam Newton, who thinks he can start in this NFL over most quarterbacks, came out with a list and said that he would be a backup for these quarterbacks: Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields, Tua, Malik Willis for the Tennessee Titans, who might not even start, CJ Stroud and Bryce Young coming into the draft along with Anthony Richardson. He said
draft those quarterbacks. He's definitely not going to start above them.
No.
I know he's going to be a backup to them, but I'm just saying, man. There's
4 more. He's got Jalen Hurts, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, and then Sam Howell from the Commanders, who I think the Commanders are going to roll with.
Oh my!
Go ahead, Aaron. I'll let you take a shot at it first.
The fact that Cam is putting out a wish list for backup teams is kind of a joke, sadly. I mean, honestly, he's a great locker room presence. I don't know how much talent he's got left, so I think any team would be lucky to have him. If he goes, Commanders almost seem like the best shot for him to start, because Ron Rivera, the head coach, worked with him in Carolina. That seems to make
good receiving core.
Yeah. Or the Ravens. Ravens might not be a bad spot either if Lamar sits out. So I'd say one of those two teams is probably most appealing. I mean,
I'd happily take him as a backup. Though.
Look, we'll talk
with Fields.
We'll talk about the Ravens then, because I'm so confused about the whole Ravens situation.
We'll talk about that then, but I'm curious what you're thinking right
now. But my thing is I just think Cam Newton had a pro day he helped people out. He had no pressure, so he threw the ball real nice. Yeah. I mean, I can go out there and throw and have no pressure. I mean, throw pretty far. Maybe his wardrobe is too expensive.
How far could you throw, Chris?
Not far anymore. Not far. I could kick it further. These shoulders are shot. Maybe his wardrobe's too big now. He's running out of money or something. He needs those fancy clothes. But I don't see him coming into a situation where he's going to take a veteran's minimum to be a backup anywhere in the NFL.
Let me
Oh,
ask
Why
you
don't-
guys.
Go play XFL if you think you're a starter.
That'd be huge. Philip Lindsay just made his debut in XFL. I'm curious, would you guys rather take
Philip Lee- oh,
Colin Kaepernick or Cam Newton?
Cam Newton.
Yeah, yeah. You've at least seen him. I don't know what Kaepernick's doing.
At least
I'm sure
Cam's
he works
played the
out.
last couple of years.
Yeah.
I mean, Colin.
Yeah,
And don't get me wrong, Colin is probably in great shape, but he hasn't touched the field in 6 years?
I'm shocked that's a guy that's going to try and pursue the XFL or the USFL.
Ty, he doesn't have to. He
Even-
sued the NFL for $86 million.
That's
Oh,
true.
true.
But I mean, if you love the sport, though.
he did get a huge contract. I think with the Niners also.
Yeah, that was just my random thing I saw about Cam Newton. But yeah, Dad, like you said, obviously the biggest news I think that happened this past week was OBJ signing with the Ravens, which I don't know about you guys, but I feel like that shocked a lot of people coming from a team who's not certainly
Yeah.
sure that Lamar will even come back. I think this was their attempt to kind of say like, hey, see, like we do want to build for you, even though OBJ missed all of last season.
But this is where I'm confused.
They did FaceTime. They did go to a club together in Miami.
Yeah,
so maybe they're bonding.
That's where I'm confused. Like, what's Lamar gonna do now? How do you come
Yeah.
back to Baltimore after all the things that was going on, and you already said your goodbyes to the organization and the fans?
I don't know.
Oh my God, that is weird.
So
That is such a
here's
weird-
where I'm at too, is from OBJ's point of view, right? Like you have all these teams interested in you, right? And I would take OBJ as like a third receiver or something for a cheap deal, not an $18 million
They
deal.
said he's the one. They said he's the one. He's the number one receiver for that team.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I have a stat on them. Then I'll read off. But
Wow.
what I'm confused about is of all the teams that you could have gone to who've had a lot more talent. Like I'm shocked that he picked. Even if Lamar comes back, like sure that could be a good connection, right? But I just think of, I mean, heck, even if he was like, he went, because like you think about the teams he visited, right? I have it listed here. He visited Dallas, he visited the Jets, he visited the Bills and the Giants. I mean, any of those teams, like, not trashing on the Ravens. The Ravens could be good this year. They obviously have been good the past couple of years with Lamar. But
a lot
of
Ravens,
those teams, yeah, like the Ravens is a huge question mark. Like, just because Lamar went to the club with you doesn't mean he's coming back.
The Ravens were obviously the only team that would offer him $18 million a year. And I'm so glad that the Cowboys picked up Brandon Cooks and did not go down that road, because I would be freaking aggravated because Jerry Jones wanted him so bad. So bad. And I'm glad that we didn't get him.
Like if I was OBJ, I would have went to Dallas and like, hey, give me the veteran minimum, and I would have took it.
OBJ just went to the bank and stole $18 million from the team.
I think you're right. I don't think many teams were going to offer him 18 mil.
No.
And regardless of how many teams were out there that were offering him deals, this is probably he's going to, like you said, the number one or number two easily in this lineup.
Oh.
Here's the thing though, what's his production going to be like? Because the Ravens,
Exactly.
like they have been known. I mean, even with Lamar and Tyler Huntley, you're going to expect to catch what, 70 balls? God no. Get out of here.
Nope.
There's no way to expect that. He could have been
And
probably used in a better offense, but this will suit him.
Let's face it, the last 2 years he had knee injuries. He's 31 years old. Is he going to be able to get open fast enough for a scrambling quarterback that is going to look to get rid of the ball fast? That's a risk. Huge risk.
All eight of the wide receivers on the Ravens NFL roster right now have never had a 1,000-yard season.
I bet you the tight ends have.
Be a record.
Baltimore,
but the tight ends have.
Baltimore has ranked last in the NFL for receiving yards by wideouts in 3 of the past 4 seasons. So, I mean, last time he played, like he was quiet with the Browns, the whole drama with Baker Mayfield, right? So there's kind of a pattern. Like there was drama in the Giants, there was drama in the Browns, but then he has these random moments where he plays well. Like he went to the Rams, right? I have it down. He caught 5 touchdowns over 8 regular season games. 2 more in 4 postseasons. You know, you add all that up, he had 48 receptions, 593 yards in 12 games in a Rams uniform. So I mean, like I think that I'm not hating on this, right? I just think the money, like I'm personally not giving him that money. Like I would happily take OBJ on like a $5 million deal or something. Like no, not 15 million guaranteed. I still think he could be a decent like number 3 or number 2 receiver, but I mean, it's good for him, man. I mean, he stole the money, like you said. Like he got it. He got the money.
You don't
with the
pay number
Jets.
2. You don't pay number 2 and number 3 receivers $18 million.
No.
The Jets were out once that price came out for sure. Same with the Cowboys, likely, especially with Cooks. So,
But hey, I mean, he's the number 1 on their team, so he's getting paid like it now.
Yeah, but the thing that's stupid now is just say Lamar does come back and he signs a huge deal with them. You're looking at paying Lamar probably somewhere between $45 to $50 million because let's face it, he's already turned down $43 million a year. Okay, so now you have that, and you have a receiver who's making $18 million. What's the rest of your team built around?
Yep.
No.
And that only just further pushes Jamar Chase and like JJ's contracts when they're going to be coming up here soon. So
I would have went to the Jets. Even if Rodgers
just-
didn't come, I mean, you go to the Jets, you have a stacked offense, a good young defense, and if they don't get Rodgers, they're probably just going to draft a QB.
the
They
money.
don't get Rodgers, they're screwed.
Well, and Chris said, if somebody's offering me 15, 18, whatever it was, you're going to take that.
Oh,
Because
100%. Like
in
on
New
Lamar's
York-
point, it's a good deal for him. Like I would have
New
took
York-
it too.
50% tax too.
That's true. That's
that
true.
Really, that sucks if you're getting like a minimum deal too.
Like,
I just don't know how you say no to $133 million guaranteed. I mean, that's just crazy.
I think if I
Lamar.
was I think
Yeah,
if
Lamar.
I'm like if I'm thinking of the business side, right? Obviously that's a great deal. But I'm countering because I'm an MVP and a Pro Bowler, and some guys who aren't even MVPs ever yet are making more money than me. That's one side I see it. But then I see it from the humane side, like me and you and Ace in this room, and I'm like, $153, whatever you just said, 100% I would take that. But also him,
it was a $200 million deal, but it was 3 years, $133 million guaranteed, which puts you at almost $44 million a year. And you say no to that.
yeah. I do agree that it's like a business and I think he can get more, but at the end of the day, I think his situation with no teams pursuing him at all, it reminds me of like the Le'Veon Bell situation where he wanted a lot of money with the Steelers and then he went to the Jets and ended up getting less.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what's going to happen there. I'm very curious. This offseason started out so crazy. Now it's like we're in this middle section where the storm is really quiet before the draft and you don't know what's going to happen next.
Look what happened to Zeke. Zeke, him and his representatives said he's still a starter in his league. He's still looking for a job.
I forgot Zeke's still a free agent.
Still looking for a job.
And that'll probably come after the draft. And it seems like once teams have probably.
I think so
done-
too. I think so
Yeah.
too.
But you got to think about it, though. Most teams now barely have enough cap space, and there are teams that have a lot of money, but you barely have enough to sign all your rookies.
Saints got
And to extend-
Yeah, where
You only have 14 million.
it's a lot compared to
Where'd
being
you send
negative
that
55.
all I saw when
14
you said
million,
that is
man,
the
you
Vikes
can
are
blow that.
dead last.
14 million, you can blow that in a blink of an eye. The Cowboys have 13 million. We're right behind you.
Hey,
But the
14
problem
million
is
is great to go get another defense tackle like Frank Clark.
That'd be
Why? When
nice
you can
signing.
draft one, the draft's loaded with one. They
He's
have
been-
Mozzie Smith projected going to you guys.
Because he's been to how
Well,
many
and
Pro Bowls and good player, Super
this-
Bowl.
Doesn't this kind of make sense though? All the guys that are like good enough to get signed are getting talked to before the period opens up. Remember the tampering, whatever
Yeah.
we talked about. So it makes sense that the guys that get signed, they get signed within the first day or two, a handful of hours, whatever the case. And then, okay, after the draft, that's when it makes sense for the rest. So that it makes sense why we're in this lull period until the draft day.
I think
What
some
about-
of these guys
what-
too just know that someone's gonna sign me. I'm good, so I'm just gonna relax
Yeah,
and wait
but,
till it
but,
happens.
but what about
Yeah.
names like Kareem Hunt? Kareem Hunt's still a free agent.
I'm shocked there's no news on him
I mean, David Montgomery got picked up before Hunt.
because Kareem
Yeah,
Hunt's
no.
a good running back.
Yeah.
Bears
why
got
isn't-
Montgomery out to go to the Lions, didn't they?
Yeah.
Eckler's another one. He's another one. They gave him the right to go contact any team he wants to. His phone ain't ringing
Nobody wants
because
to trade for him.
he's looking for a big deal, and the market's flipping for running backs.
Wow.
He just screwed himself.
The Kareem Hunt one is interesting because he split time with Nick Chubb, who is arguably the best running back in the NFL. And Kareem Hunt still put up very
Yeah.
decent, good numbers, can receive in the backfield, can run. So you would think a team like Dallas, for instance, right, who has Pollard coming back off an injury, like why not see if you can get Kareem Hunt for like cheap
Who did
deal?
we pick up? Ronald Darby.
Oh yeah, from Tampa Bay Buccaneers who went to
Yeah.
Kansas City.
So what does that say? It probably says that Hunt wants a lot of money, and the Cowboys don't want to go
Yeah.
down that road anymore. So let's pick up somebody. who was okay.
The thing with Eckler, he's dang near close to averaging a touchdown a game though. Too.
Oh yeah, he's good at
He's a
getting the
workhorse.
touchdowns.
Definitely
So
a
Eckler
workhorse.
has value, I think. I still think Kareem Hunt, Eckler have value, probably even more so over than Zeke even at this point.
But he only has so much value as the market's allowing. And if you look at all the
Yeah.
running backs who had just gotten signed, not any of them are over 7 million a year.
The only news I've seen lately on Kareem Hunt, and I pulled up here too, is that the Browns obviously don't want him back, and they believe he has lost a little bit of speed. There's some rumors that maybe he should sign with the Chiefs and have a reunion with them, or even the
Why not
Commanders,
Detroit?
or even the Commanders. Well, Detroit just
Yeah.
picked up Montgomery, and they have Swift.
What about Aaron Jones? Did Aaron Jones re-sign with Green Bay?
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
actually
him
already
and
working out with
Jalen.
he's already working out with Jordan Love.
Hmm.
I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to get traded till the draft or after the draft. I think it's going to happen, but I think that's
Well,
when it's going to happen.
From what I heard today, the ball is now back in the Aaron Rodgers' court, and it's just a matter of him saying yes or no, depending on where he still stands. But apparently, Green Bay and them do have a deal in place now.
He said on the
we've
Pat
heard this
McAfee
before.
podcast that he's totally down with it. Like he wanted it was in their hands. So
I mean,
as a Jets fan, dude, though, like even if I have him for 1 year, like I'm hyped. I'm buying Aaron Rodgers jersey. This is the year to go to the Super Bowl. Like you're hyped. You don't care about what happened last year with him. Like
the Jets just signed half the Green Bay Packers team. I mean, they just brought the freaking backup quarterback.
Over. It's literally like you can see like, all right, it's gonna happen, but it just hasn't happened yet. They got Lazard. They got Tim Boyle as the backup quarterback. Like,
I'm just so sick of the Aaron Rodgers drama every year. Just sign or retire. You know what? Every year. And I'm sorry, the Jets are absolute stupid idiots for doing this.
Are they though? Are they?
Absolutely.
Because look at their team last year compared to the team they're building right now. Or is it smart?
If they give up a first-round pick, a second-round pick, and a third-round pick, and he retires next year, they failed this. I don't care if they make the playoffs for the first time in 40 years. They failed this trade.
Let me ask you this though: if they win a Super Bowl and he retires next year,
he's not winning a Super Bowl. He's not winning a Super Bowl. The Jets are not going to be the best team in football next year.
Let me just ask you a question though.
No.
If they win a Super Bowl, just theoretically, if they would win a Super Bowl and say he retires and they gave up all those draft picks just like the Rams did. As a fan, was it worth it? You won a Super Bowl. 100% it's worth it in my eyes. I won a Super Bowl.
No, it's not.
I won a Super Bowl.
Because I won 3 or 4 Super Bowls. I don't want to win
I
one.
want to see at least one Super Bowl in my lifetime. And if that is what happens, that's
let's face it, they're not going to the Super
like
Bowl.
The Stafford deal with the Rams, pretty much.
That's what I think it's going to be like. I think like the Rams put all their eggs in one basket to literally just get that Super Bowl ring, and they got it. And now, obviously, like you saw last year, they had the injuries and stuff.
The Jets are going to be lucky to be a wild card team.
I don't think so. If they get Rodgers, I think they're winning that division.
No, actually, you know
dude, they're not winning that division. No way.
Why not?
Beating Buffalo.
Why can't they beat Buffalo?
No way. They're not winning that division. Hot pick. We'll bet on this if you want.
They were what, tied for first place at one point last year with
what the big first week of the season?
No, like 5-7 weeks in.
No way. I would bet my life on it that they do not go down the wild card.
Listen, I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl, but I do think that they can at least be a wild card team if Rodgers goes there.
They're going to win 8 games maybe next year.
Hey, you know what's great is that we live in the great country of America, and I respect your opinion.
Yeah. There's no way. I'm sorry. If this was a 27, 28, maybe even a 32-year-old, maybe a 31-year-old quarterback, yeah. But a guy that keeps hinting about retirement every single year, I am not giving up a first-round pick for him. I'm sorry. Because if he leaves, guess what? Now you need a quarterback again.
Why?
You still have Zach Wilson.
Oh, come on.
Where it is.
If Zach Wilson was so good, they wouldn't even be talking about Aaron Rodgers.
But hey, grooming under Aaron Rodgers for a year, maybe we'll discipline him.
Oh, Zach Wilson needs more than a couple years.
Zach Wilson, Aaron Rodgers does not like to work with other players. He's selfish.
How do you know? Do you know him?
Yeah,
that's not true.
We talk all the time.
All right, Ace.
I don't know. I think that move is going to be as dumb as what the Cleveland did with Deshaun Watson going all in with that guarantee.
I think the Browns will be interesting this year.
9.5 is the win total for the Jets.
Yeah. Look,
and he's not even on the team yet.
Yeah.
I like the over there. If it was like 12, 13, I got to take the under.
I think it turns into a 10 if he gets on that team.
And another thing too is, look at everyone blamed everything on every other player last year in Green Bay. How do we know some of those problems weren't Aaron Rodgers declining?
It could have been. But he's also coming off back-to-back MVP seasons.
Okay.
And the thing that sucks is he's like one of the smartest QBs too. So he probably he always has that bravado that it's not his fault kind of thing, which is
That's true.
Like it can rub you the wrong way, but it's like he sort of is right too, probably. So I'm
a franchise guy. I look like they'll look ahead. Like I don't want like what the Sixers did when they gave away Jimmy Butler. We traded a first round pick for Butler, and he came to the Sixers and left the next year.
Yeah,
I just don't like that risk. I don't like that risk.
That's different because Butler wanted to stay, and we offered more money to Tobias than we did Butler.
But I'm just saying, I don't like that risk. You're risking the future of the organization for something you're not guaranteed.
And just
if he guarantees me that he's going to play 3 years and puts that in writing, that's a different story.
And just like that, that's our loophole to veer into the hottest news in the past couple of days is Ace, your Timberwolves. Who
I guess we're going golf last, Ace.
It doesn't matter.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Hey, the Timberwolves obviously have a play-in game. Do we know who they're playing yet?
The Los Angeles Lakers.
Oh, come on, Ace. I need you to go there and pump them up.
Yo, Street Clothes is playing great, man. The Lakers are like 16 or 16 and 8 in their last like 23 games. They're really hot right now.
When is this game?
I believe they're tomorrow. It's either tomorrow or Wednesday.
So Ace,
they play tomorrow. The Wolves.
And LeBron's rejuvenated, man. LeBron hit 8 3-pointers last night. He's
putting the crown on himself and everything.
Oh yeah.
Ace, break it down for us, Ace. As a Timberwolves fan, man, A-Rod's buying more of the team. We've traded some players. Fans are angry. You get to a play-in game, but your players are throwing punches. Organization makes the decision to send him home and suspend him for that game, a very important game to get into the playoffs. This is the second year you guys have a play-in game. What are you thinking as a fan? What are you thinking as a fan here?
I mean, honestly, I might have to stop you right there. I'm not sure I'm a fan, to be honest. They've been pathetic for decades, sadly. And organizationally, they've made some terrible moves, but you're right. I do live here. So to some degree, I root for them. And it's sort of embarrassing what happened yesterday with the punches. I mentioned to you guys, they're kind of like the Charlie Brown of the league. Cause it's like, not only does Gobert throw at the teammate during like a timeout, but then going into halftime, one of our really good defenders punches the wall, knew he broke his hand immediately. And it's just like, really take 2 steps down. And so the outlook is very grim going into Los Angeles tomorrow. And not only that, but like you said, Chris, the Lakers have been hot the last down the stretch, which is exactly what you need in the team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Wolves need Anthony Edwards and Carl Anthony to play absolutely out of their minds. And then I'm hoping that it's the weird part, Ty, is that they sent him home. So that just seems like there's something weird in the locker room, maybe that it wasn't even good enough to bring him. Like they couldn't even let him travel with the team. So maybe that is like a spark. They go on the road too. So getting out of here might help. Book it. Wolves win, baby. Wolves win. Book it.
You have that hot take right now. The Wolves are winning.
There is no reason we should win it. So that's why I'm going to say they'll win.
Put your parlays in right now.
Wait, hold up. So how does the play-in, if whichever teams win, they play for the 7th and 8th seed, so the Lakers would be eliminated. Or
they play the number 1 seed, don't they?
Well, no, I think so. There's 7 through 10, right? 7 through 10 seeds play, and the winners play each other. The winner of that,
the winner of that game gets in, and the loser plays the.
Hold on, I have it right here. Give me 1 second, because
I think the two winners. It's the two winners of the 7, 8, 9, 10 play each other, and whoever wins that game is the 7th seed. Whoever loses is the 8th seed.
Yep, that makes sense. Okay, so that's what I mentioned. Then it just a little bit different.
Look, I honestly think Denver is a fluke. I don't think I think Denver is they're gonna get by the first round. I just think the Suns, they'll get the Suns possibly in the second round. I think the Suns are the hottest team in basketball right now. One of the hottest teams. I think they're undefeated since they got Durant. They're playing really great basketball.
They're playing great. He just was like the first person. He just had a historic stat. See if I can find it real quick.
Golden State, while you're looking, Golden State's another team. They're great at home. They're like 38 and like 8 at home and have a horrible like 10-40 record on the road or whatever the heck it is. So I think Golden State is another team. If they're in the bottom part of the bracket, I think they can get through. I think they can if they end up facing. I think the Grizzlies will be the toughest team in that part of the bracket. I think they could beat the Grizzlies. I see Phoenix against Golden State in the Western Finals, and I honestly see Milwaukee against Boston, who have been the best 2 teams all season in the Eastern Finals. My personal pick is the Suns versus Milwaukee Bucks.
I like that rematch, honestly, because I looked at it too. Now that Paul George is out for the Clippers for at least this first round matchup, I think against the Suns anyways, it's like you can't really count on much of that happening, even as good as Kawhi is. Suns are so talented.
Suns are so talented.
Incredible.
So talented.
And I like the Bucks too.
I'm impressed with the East, though. I think the East has 4 or 5 teams that have 50-plus wins, where the West only has 2 teams over 50 wins. Cleveland's a sleeper team. The Knicks are hot. They're a sleeper team.
The Sixers, Boston.
The Sixers, this is their best opportunity by far. I think this is their best team that they have had in a long time. It's going to be how do they show up in the playoffs? Does Harden show up and play great and do what he's been doing, or is he the Harden of the past where he doesn't show up? Maxi's going to be key. Maxi's going to
average 20 points per game.
I know. I'm just saying these are the things that are going to have to happen now. Their benches, because down the stretch, the Sixers have been playing sloppy.
Yeah.
So they got to turn it on. The Sixers get the Nets the first round. Nets aren't an easy team now. They got Bridges in them there. It's going to be a tough matchup. I think the Sixers win it in an easy fashion.
I'm shocked the Nets even made it.
Yeah.
I think what's awesome is I think the MVP whole discussion is done. I think Embiid back-to-back scoring champs, averaging 33.1 points per game. I think if he doesn't win it again this year, I think something's wrong, because I think he should have won it last year. I think what's cool though is that, where was it, man? Him and Harden have this cool stat that they did, but I just said Embiid had that the scoring. James Harden is the first player in NBA history with 3+ scoring titles and 2+ assist titles, which is pretty cool.
I think the NBA should give out the hardware now, not until after the season's over. I think they should give it out now, because you know what? There's a possibility that people get swayed by how they play in the playoffs.
I agree.
And it's not fair. I think it should be off the season.
I agree.
MVP or whoever, nobody knows who wins the awards then. Or you kind of forget the awards after the championship game.
Oh, this
is the perfect time to do it. Do it now before everything starts up.
Here's that Sixers thing I wanted to share with you guys, that Harden and Embiid are the first teammates to win scoring and assist titles in the same season since 1981 through 82. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
It's really good. And I think the Sixers do have a great bench this year. They have a lot of weapons, and I just hope that things come together. It's like I said, it's going to depend on Harden. Harden has to play great basketball, not like in years past, because there's rumors out there saying after this year, Harden's talking about going back to Houston, which I think that's where he wants to end his career, in Houston.
You know, he's been in the playoffs 14 seasons in a row.
Mm-hmm. Go look at his stats for the playoffs, though.
I have never seen so much in one league where guys can just flat out say, I'm going to go here and go there and go do this.
They have so much
happens.
They have so much control, apparently.
But you think about it. Look at the money he's going to be guaranteed. I mean, it goes by years of service. You know what I mean? And he negotiated down so the Sixers can build a team around him this year. He's on a 1-year deal. Guess what? Next year he can go down to Houston, get a max deal, and call it a day.
You know what the most exciting game I think I'm so excited to watch? It's the Knicks. I want to see the Knicks home crowd go into the playoffs. And when's the last time they've been in the playoffs? I mean, that's a lie. Never mind. Hold on, Trae Young and stuff.
Knicks Cleveland's gonna be good, man. That's gonna be a great matchup. That's good.
That's gonna be a good game. I'm gonna watch that series.
All of them are good, yo. You think about it. I mean, the Miami Heat, they came from nowhere to get back in there and get just to put themselves in the playoff position.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have teams
Miami can go furthest out of those.
I mean, you have teams like Chicago that are trying to get in. There's a lot of good teams. I mean, Atlanta Hawks, who were a really good team in the playoffs the last couple of years, are playing to get in. There's good teams, man.
I think Trae Young gets traded if they don't make playoffs. I think Damian Lillard gets traded this offseason too.
I honestly think Trae Young gets traded to the Dallas Mavericks. I think Luka's gone. I think Kyrie Irving
What?
stays here. I just think
They do a swap.
I just think I think Kyrie Irving is a piece I'd rather have instead of Luka. Luka slows the game down. Yeah, I don't care.
Wow.
You can say what you
shot.
want. Listen. Luka slows the game down. He does not play with other players. He's selfish with the ball. It's just you can't build a team around him. I mean, look at all the people they brought in, and no, he's got to go. I'm sorry.
That's a hot take.
That's a very hot take.
I could build what you're going to pay Luka. You can build a better team around yourself than have a Luka.
That's an interesting hot take.
He gets more technicals than Draymond Green
because he's a hard worker.
He cries a lot.
Whether the refs call it or not is
yeah.
Dude, and he's fat. He's out of shape. He's just no.
I don't know if we're talking about the same guy.
Yeah,
we're talking about the same guy.
Leave Wade out of this. Zion's Luka's trying.
This hot take, this hot take is just pushing me towards the Masters at this point. So I know y'all really wanted to dive into the Masters. I don't know anything about golf, so I'm very intrigued to hear what's going on in the Masters.
Jon Rahm, congratulations to him. Held off Koepka. Actually, Koepka had the lead through three rounds.
Hey,
Sunday.
Saturday, it all came crashing down. Like I think that delay killed them. I think it killed all of them.
With the trees?
No, with the
There's
rain.
weather delay.
It was
a tree fell on the 17th hole. There's a crazy video from 16 that shows it coming down and just splits the fairway in half. Thank God nobody got hurt. It's shocking to see nobody got hurt, honestly. But
did you see the amount of water that was laying everywhere, though? I mean, it was like the greens turned into rivers. Yeah.
They canceled it. I think so. There was a delay Friday for sure. The tree fell either Friday or Saturday. But the delay just pushed like everything back. So multiple players had to play multiple rounds on Saturday. And that's when Rahm kind of got some momentum going into Sunday. So he carried that through and played well. Plus the joke was Brooks Koepka's used to the Live Tour, which is only 54 holes instead of the fourth day, 72. So, but Brooks,
I got to tell you,
Brooks is solid. He's a good guy.
I was personally rooting for Phil. Us lefties stick together, and he shot -7 on Sunday. He was really coming through. I think if they had one more day
-7,
wow. I think Phil would have won a tournament if they had one more day left. I really do. Phil, I think thin Phil too. Thin Phil.
Yeah, Phil looked lean. He looked mean. He was a birdie killing machine. No,
is Tiger back?
Yeah, he dropped out with plantar fasciitis.
That's tough.
Yeah,
that
Rory,
burns.
Tiger.
Rory's dropped out of 2 out of the last 3 tournaments.
Justin Thomas missed the cut.
Yeah. Rory McIlroy he started out phenomenal. He's third in the US world rankings. He's third. And the last 2 out of 3 tournaments he had to drop out because of things going on. So it's not good.
And I think this is the one tournament he's waiting on winning too. And then he has like what they call the career Grand Slam.
Career Grand Slam.
Here's the thing. I thought if Brooks would have held on, he could have been kind of in that echelon where you're talking about Brooks Koepka in the same vein as like Rory. I would even put him above Jordan Spieth. He's obviously below like Mickelson and Woods, but because he'd have more titles than Justin Johnson. I'd put him right around where Rory is. But Rahm, I think is he's close to your age, I think, Ty. Maybe a few years older, but
you calling me oldies? I mean, I'm pretty young.
Mid-20. No, he's young.
Jon
Rahm's a little younger.
Hey, who's the guy that has the really amazing tattoo for his dad on his arm? Did you guys see that story at all?
No.
The one kid that's been golfing in the Masters, he's got this tattooed on his arm where it's like the note that his dad wrote him before he passed away. Pretty cool. Shocked you guys haven't heard of that. I don't even watch golf, and I heard about it.
Well, you should have told us before.
Ace, so if you win the Masters, you get the green jacket?
Yes, that is the honorary.
Let me ask you something.
Along with a huge trophy.
If you'd win that green jacket, you wearing that at home, or is that going in a picture frame? Like you invite a girl over and you're like, "Hey,
I would wear it out.
Hey, you want to see my green jacket?"
That thing's ugly. It's going in my closet.
I'd get it framed at least, and then
I think if
maybe
I was
pull it out on
going out to
occasion.
like a fancy dinner with my friends, I'd be like, let me put this green jacket on so they know who won the game.
Hey, so I want to ask you something though, like a tournament like this in that new live organization, what do you think the purse would be? Because the purse for this was 18 million, which is surprising. You think 18 million, and that's just for the whole tournament. 18 million, you think it'd be higher? You think first place would probably win like 10 to 12 mil? You know, Rahm only won,
Yeah.
and I'm only saying only,
Oh,
but he won 3.2 mil. You think an event like this would net you like God, 12, 14, 18 million dollars alone?
yeah, that is weird. It does seem like they should get more, come to think of it. I think Live Tour for sure. They will, man, I don't know what their purse is actually. That's a good question, what the average Live purse is. I think it's the same for every tournament because they play way less of a schedule. But that was one of the things that the PGA did once Live kind of organized is they all of a sudden found some money for these major tournaments. They found money for the player impact thing, the PIP, where most social media traffic at the end of the year, the guy gets the leader gets like $10 million or something, just crazy, all because of like social following
Yeah.
and traffic throughout the year. So they were able to uncover some money, but that does
That
seem like
seems
a
low.
purse.
I don't know if they have a CBA, but I think golf needs a CBA, and they need to negotiate TV contracts. They need to negotiate
God,
all this
no
stuff.
way.
I
Hey,
mean,
Well,
hey,
they're
don't
all
get me
independent
wrong.
contractors, aren't they? So they all file like a 1099 or whatever the
I mean, down to 34th place, you're getting six figures. But I'm like, wow. When I saw that, I thought he won 18 million by himself, but apparently not.
hey, that guy's name is Sam Bennett. He's an amateur that made it into the Masters. He's a real young guy.
Oh, that was him.
Huh.
Yeah, he played really. He shot the best for all the amateurs.
Yeah,
So
his
that's a
dad had
huge.
a form of Alzheimer's and passed away. And before he passed away, he wrote a note that said, like, don't wait to do something. And he has his dad's handwriting on that note tattooed onto his arm.
Oh,
Hmm.
Thought that was
that's cool.
pretty
Well,
cool.
Rahm is ranked number one right now in the world. McIlroy's third, like I said. And I think Rahm is leading in total earnings for the year. I think he's just under 13 million for the year already, which is a good deal. Good deal. But he should have, me personally, I think he should have won more money.
13 million. I'll take that.
You know, how many of you want to see Tiger Woods at least win one more major? Doesn't he need one more to beat Jack?
Yeah, he's like right there. I thought when he won the Masters a couple years ago, that was kind of like his swan song to a degree. Because dude is injured. Have you ever seen his legs before? His
Yeah,
calves.
gosh,
One of his
no.
calves. Yeah, one of his calves looks so thin, like his whole leg.
His son's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Charlie. I actually heard that. I heard something, Ace, and they said that Tiger Woods has like 8 different injuries that could knock him out of a tournament every week if depending on which one flares up. But there was also another guy, I forget, I heard on the radio when I was driving home today. He actually has pins and like plates and stuff in his leg. And one of the screws actually backed out and was popping out of his skin, and he had to drop out of the tournament because he couldn't stand the pain no more. It wasn't the Masters; it was another tournament he is in. Because he
Wow.
said he wishes that they
Oh,
would allow carts for people to drive around on carts because
yeah.
of people's injuries. And he said, "I feel for Tiger because I know exactly
Jeez.
how that is."
Wait,
I'm
the
like,
pro
wow,
golfers don't get the driving a golf cart. They have
you
to walk.
can't drive. No, you can't. You gotta walk. You can't walk. You got to drop out.
He's
That's dumb.
pushing himself too hard, it sounds like. That's tough.
And he don't.
Oh, my
Tiger
God.
don't need the money. He doesn't need the money. He's doing it because he loves the game and he loves the challenge of the game. You know, and I think he's hoping that he could beat and get one more Masters. I think it's either to tie Jack or beat Jack's record of 14 or whatever it is. But when Tiger shot +3 on Thursday, I was like, yeah, that's not good.
Ace,
No.
do you golf, Ace?
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's part of the reason we're going to Kansas City.
You think
It's
you
a-
think you have a small chance of you ever like going one-on-one with Tiger Woods just out of 18 holes, like one hole, just beat him on one hole. Just one hole.
I mean, I guess anything's possible, right?
Gotta have
one
confidence in
hole,
yourself. You gotta
maybe.
bet on yourself, right?
One
Don't wait.
hole.
Don't wait to do something.
I don't think it's that. It would be very, very difficult. I
All you
don't know
gotta
what
do is
those
hope for
odds
all
would
you gotta
be
do is hope
against.
for one flare up on his body, and you got it.
Yeah, I think
Mm.
now would be a lot. I don't even think he'd play somebody 18 holes, to be honest. That'd be tough enough to get him to play 18 against regular competition.
Yeah,
Well,
the thing that was interesting about them, but for real quick, there was an amateur. I don't know his name, but there was an amateur that was floating up there in the top two. I think it was Bennett or something
It
like
was
that.
Sam Bennett. Yeah. What
Yeah,
time?
it's
is
the
he
it?
was
guy with a tattoo.
he was up in the top leaderboard. He was up
Yeah,
there like
he was in
doing
sixth
really
place
really
at one
well.
point.
He was in second at one point. I was like, damn, amateur. And then the rains came and not
Well,
everyone's game's good in the rain.
Ace, was there anything else that you want to talk about with the Masters?
I'm trying to think of any other guys. No, yeah, there was a handful of solid guys kind of in the leaderboard that toward the end there. We talked about Phil Mickelson, Jordan Spieth made a really good run too. So
I like
good
Jordan.
overall.
I
It's
like
good seeing
Jordan. I
them.
like Rory.
Yeah, it's good seeing them be up there. Just because obviously eyeballs are on it when guys know who's playing, or when guys know that
Yeah.
the stars are in at the end and competing for the title.
Yeah.
Well, we'll take us home here with a little bit of baseball because the Yankees currently just lost to the Guardians 3-2, which is a tough break. But MLB, I mean, we got like what? We're like almost a month into baseball at this point, and not a month. I'd probably say 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks.
What's the most surprising to you guys? Is it the Rays being 9-0? Is it the Twins still in first place? Or is it like teams like the Pirates who are floating around at like 6-3 or something?
Well, I think
like
the
that?
Pirates are done now that O'Neal Cruz is injured.
Pirates are 6-3. The Brewers are 7-2. I mean, the thing that surprised me the most is teams like the Cardinals, who they projected for 96 wins. And I know it's early, but they're sitting here at 3-6 right now. They're 2-4 at home, 1-2 away. The Rockies, we expected them, but like the Giants, the Dodgers, the Padres, all kind of like struggling a little bit, crazy.
I think what
Yeah.
shocks me the most is just how clear and evident it is that the Athletics are just trying to lose. I mean,
They want to go to Vegas. They want to go to Vegas so bad.
they have, I think their payroll is like $5 million. There's nobody,
sad, yeah.
nobody goes to the games. I couldn't name one person on their roster. Like MLB needs to be able to like step in and be like, this is embarrassing for you. Like if I'm the city of Oakland, I'm stepping in and be like, this is embarrassing for us.
Yeah. Yeah. And just like fair competition too. It gets to a point where it's like, oh my God, this team you're not even putting out a product that can compete.
I got to tell you what was nice. I watched the Yankees Orioles over the weekend, and seeing Baltimore Stadium packed with people was amazing. They have a really, really good team. They have a great bullpen. They need their starting pitchers are what is hurting them right now. They get starting pitching. This team's going to be good. They got the number one freaking farm system again in baseball. They could trade some of those pieces away to get some starting pitching. But the Orioles, man, and that Roshman kid,
Good
amazing.
catcher. Good guy.
Freaking amazing. He went 4 for 4 the other night against the Yankees. Amazing.
And I don't really know if it's a surprise, but I think that division is probably going to be in the best in baseball. You could maybe make the argument the East or the NL East or the West, but I think with the Yankee, outside of maybe Boston, who could surprise some teams, the rest of those teams should finish over 500.
You asked us what's surprising, and I think that there's a couple things. I think number one is how much I'm enjoying the new rules. I think like, I get the notification that Yankees game's on. I'm like, all right, like cool. Like I'll hop in eventually. Like it'll be on for a while. And like, what feels like an hour later, it's like the Yankees game's over. I'm like, wow, watching it and seeing the pace of the game faster. I love the whole no shift. I love the whole, batter's got to be in the box. I mean, you've seen some ejections already. You've seen some called strikes already. I think
I got to tell you.
Go ahead.
The thing that I don't like is how they're really screwing pitchers over the last 2 years. They screwed them with the tax stuff. Now they're screwing them with the time clock. And the time clock is good for baseball, but the ability that they're only allowed to throw to first base twice is allowing the steals to go through the roof.
Through the roof.
Stolen bases are almost 20% already. Success rate went from 75.4% last year to almost 90%. With shorter bases and the ability not to freaking pick guys off on a regular basis, the numbers are going through the roof.
That's the only rule I don't agree with, and nor is it like why do we need it? Like, why is there a pickoff limit?
Yeah,
is that per inning or per base per inning?
Per person on base, you're only allowed to throw over twice. 3 times you can, but the third time, if you do not get him out on that third attempt, it's a balk.
I
instead
think
of
it's
getting
really
extra base.
exciting though to see so many guys stealing bases though, because I mean, you think about the Yankees. I
Yeah.
mean, there's some seasons you'd see like what felt like 5 stolen bases on the year. I mean, you're seeing so many. It feels like you're watching a little league game, and I love it.
Does it correlate to more runs scored so far at this time? Did you
Uh,
see anything on that?
I didn't see that, but I know that they're on pace for almost 3,500 stolen bases. The last time they hit 3,400 was in 1999. So it's definitely a big change, and it's a disadvantage to the. I mean, let's face it too. The catcher's numbers are going through the roof now. It's almost 4 inches of a shorter distance.
You look bad. You look bad as a catcher now.
Yeah, you have to have a
Oh,
perfect pitch,
yeah.
perfect throw. I mean, the Yankees pitched out the other day and still couldn't throw a guy out.
I
It's
think
bad.
I think the Phillies being 3-6 was really shocking me. I mean, starting the season
Injuries.
off 0-3. I mean, yeah, sure, you got Reese Hoskins, there's a Harper injured, but I mean, you still look at the talent on that team. I mean, Schwarber, Castellanos, you have Turner, you have Bohm. I mean, you still have a lot of talent on that team. JT Realmuto, and
Mhm.
it's just a little shocking. It's a little shocking, but the
thing that-
first couple weeks, I mean, it's exciting. Mike Trout's playing well, Otani's playing well. The Astros are under 500, which I love.
The thing that cracks me up, Ace, weren't you concerned about your starting pitching? I mean, the Twins have the 3rd best ERA in baseball.
We'll see. I'm happy for that, honestly. But yeah, it is a long season. Maeda looked decent today. Maeda makes me a little nervous, but he came off Tommy John. So
I have concerns
that
about
is a
the
bright
Yankees,
spot.
though. I really
Hey.
have concerns about the Yankees because our starting pitching, we don't have Rendon, we don't have Severino.
Severino just
you know,
pitched to rehab and he's feeling good. Rendon should be coming back shortly.
But the thing is
Okay.
Severino's been hurt every year since
I
he's got
know.
that new contract. I mean, the Yankees are 4th in ERA at 2.76. The most impressive, though, is one of the lowest paid teams in baseball, the Rays, doing it again.
9-0.
The Rays with a team ERA of 1.78. They're outscoring people 58-18.
Franco looks really good right now.
Listen to this stat I'm going to
Oh,
give
and
you. The Rays were 4-0 in the beginning of the first week of baseball. They outscored opponents 27-5. Fewest runs allowed through 4 games by any team since 2019 Padres. Rays starters just allowed 1 run in 23 innings, good for an ERA of 0.39. 30 Ks and only 3 walks from their starters. Only allowed 9 hits, 2 for extra base hits. They're the 3rd team along with the 91 White Sox and the 78 Angels since earned runs became an official stat in 1913 to have a rotation sub 1 ERA and 30 Ks through the first 4 games of the season. It's amazing. And they give away talent. They give away that Musgrave. They give away that Blake Snell. They give away all these guys, but they just keep regenerating that freaking
Their farm
talent.
system is
Glasnow.
just so good. And no, Glasnow's coming back though. Like he's not even back yet.
Yeah.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's
And-
crazy to see.
And then you have
And-
Oakland.
Just
It's like
a
what does
laughing
that
stock of MLB. Dad,
Yeah.
good stat for you, Dad, that I think we would like as Yankees fans is Stanton has 28 at bats, only 3 Ks, and he is 3 or 4 home runs already. And he's hitting the ball hard right now.
Well, the nice thing too is Major League Baseball must have messed with the balls again because averages are up now. I mean, the Cardinals team average is 294. The Blue Jays are 288. I think last year, what was the league average? Like 220, 225 was the league average last year. I mean, you have a lot of these teams, and let me it's early. I know it's early, but it's a good thing to see. Even the Phillies, who are struggling, they're still batting 280 as a team. So, yeah, it's a good
Wow.
thing.
They're saying
Yeah,
that the MLB average salary is up 11% this year.
Wow.
And you see the Cubs came out as sleepers for Otani all of a sudden. Imagine that.
man, yeah.
Imagine
That's,
He's not good. He's not good to a
that's
big
gonna
market.
get louder. That'll get louder depending how the
I don't know why, like,
Angels do.
if I'm the Angels, like,
Go
I don't
ahead.
know. I just think, do you keep Otani? Like, do you think, like, if you're the Angels, you're like, all right, Trout's probably gone after his contract. I mean, I don't know how longer he has left, but if I'm Trout, I'm not retiring it. I don't know. Actually, if I've been with the Angels that long, like, maybe I would retire to secure my legacy and not be a guy that just hops around for a ring. Because they're playing well right
Yeah.
now. The Angels aren't. I mean, they're like 6-4 or something, but both those
Well,
guys are playing well.
Well, it's April. By May, street clothes will be back on the bench, not playing anymore. He's only good for about 60 games a year.
Hopefully not.
I honestly think Ohtani's going to either stay with the Angels. If he does move, it's either going to be the Dodgers, the Mets, or the Yankees. And I'm not saying that because it's the Yankees. I'm saying that because those are the big Asian markets. You know what I mean? New York, LA, those are the big markets for players like that.
The Padres,
Seattle.
the
Seattle's
Padres
another one.
have some
Padres.
I don't want to say
The
Asians.
coasts.
Yeah.
Just some injury updates at the league right now.
Mhm.
Tim Anderson has knee soreness and he's not currently playing. That's a name I'd love to see get moved because the White Sox just feel like they're up and down. I would love to see him on a good team. Adam Duvall has a broken wrist for the Boston Red Sox, and the big one the past week is O'Neal Cruz has a broken ankle for the Pirates because, like you said, Dad, they started off hot. He was playing hot at shortstop. He was smoking homers, and he slid in the home plate wrong, broke his ankle. Bench is cleared. It was an ugly scene, but they're saying his timeline is hopefully August.
That
I'll tell you what,
sucks too, because they don't
That
have
sucks, man. Yeah,
Pittsburgh doesn't have much to root for, anyways,
and they were playing so well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The biggest thing I love is the Astros. I mean, they're 4-6. They're 3-4 at home. They're 1-2 away. I love the fact that they're not stinking, but I just love the fact that they're on that side of the standings.
I know. The problem is I'm like Ty, where you just know they're going to put it together, especially when Altuve gets back. But who knows? It's getting rid of Verlander is a key, and granted, he's injured now too. So it's like getting rid of an ace.
Nelson, just a random name that I saw all over ESPN.
That's my most surprising. What you're going to say is my Nelson
Cruz.
Yeah, still
for how
playing.
old he is, and he's got 2 home runs off the season already. He's smoking the ball off the bat. Like that is just a guy that no matter how old he gets, like he's gonna hit the ball. Like he's a player. He's a born player.
Incredible too. I thought he was going to retire.
Let me see what his age is, and he looks great in that.
He's got to be like he's like 43 years old.
Did he?
I want to say 40. I want to say 46.
He's had a weird career.
Oh, he's only 42. I mean, that's still older for baseball, but
that is old. I mean, he's like Tom Brady.
Wow.
No, the Astros had a chance. The Astros had a chance to break a record on opening day from 2013 to 2022. The Astros had never had an opening day loss, tying a very old major league record set back in 1887 to 1896 by the Boston Bean Eaters. But they had a chance to break that record, and they lost opening day, and they blew that. So now it's time to start a new streak. I don't know. You know the thing I like about baseball this year, I love other than the Rays being 9-0 and having a 3-game lead, everything else is close. I mean, the Tigers are only 3.5 out in last place. The Athletics are only 3 games out technically in last place. It's early. Don't get me wrong, but there's nobody that's really standing out. Like everyone said, "Oh God, the Braves are going to be freaking amazing." The Braves are 6-4. I mean, the Nationals are 3-7, and they're only 3 games out. The Brewers are the best team in the National League at 7-2, but they only have a 4-game lead over the last place Cardinals. So it's wide open. Even the Rockies, who had a game where they had 17 hits and 17 strikeouts in the same game, which I think set a record, are only 2 games out. So baseball is, I think baseball is getting better. It's going in the right direction.
Feels good so far. Feels so good.
It does. There hasn't been any snow delays. I mean, we had rain delays and everything with all the bad weather that was going on the East Coast and all the tornadoes and stuff, but no snow delays, no nothing. And here in Colorado, it's 80 degrees.
Close. We got close to that today.
I'm definitely going to go down to that Rockies-Yankees game. Everyone says you got to go to a Rockies game.
I'm actually
it's
going
the most
to
beautiful atmosphere to be in.
I'm going to a Marlins and Yankees game in August with some buddies and my fiance and some. We didn't want to go alone, so I asked everybody, like, who would go to a Marlins and Yankees game? Tickets are like $30, bro.
Yo, I heard something on the way home. I was listening to 105.3 The Fan. I don't want to get a shout out. I always do that, but in the minor leagues, there was a no-hitter that was pitched by a minor league team, but they allowed 7 runs.
What? So
yeah.
They walked in like...
They threw a no-hitter, so they must have walked or they had bad control and they hit a lot of people. And they lost 7-0, but threw a no-hitter. And another thing, too, in single, I think it was high A, we had our first female ever head coach.
Really? Congratulations.
Wow.
Yes, I'd love to see if we can get her on the
I'm
podcast.
not-
Did you see? I don't know if it was a college baseball player or a high school I think it was like a community college. Some I don't know. But this kid, he threw a no hitter and he hit the cycle.
Wow,
How crazy is that? Talk about having a good
that's
day.
great. That's great.
Imagine Ohtani. That would be, that'd be crazy
awesome.
to do in the MLB.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, guys, that's all. I feel like we ran through all of it. Y'all have anything else you wanna add into it? No.
Oh, you know what I wanted to look up? I wanted to see if Minnesota won the Frozen Four. They were playing Quinnipiac,
No,
and they went to overtime.
They lost 10 seconds into overtime. We watched that
Ah.
Saturday. It
Dang.
was pretty depressing.
Dude, it was such a good game, though. It was such a good game.
Quinnipiac was I mean, we got the goal early, but the momentum, they just seemed like the more aggressive team throughout the game, and the Gophers let in a goal to tie it up with like 5 minutes left, maybe, or something like that. And then in overtime, it was like literally 10 seconds.
And I
Something
applaud a
like
school
that.
I can't even spell, Quinnipiac. I applaud them because you know what? They led the country in wins with like 31. They were like 31-4, and they went through the Frozen Four. They beat the crap out of Michigan, and they went on to beat a good Minnesota team.
Now you got to spell that in here.
Oh gosh. Well, hey, for y'all,
Quinnipiac, something.
Thank you.
But you tell me where it's at, I'd have no idea. But
well, hey, if you guys like this podcast, don't be afraid to give it a share. You can follow us on Instagram and see all the guests that we've had on, all the cool things that we've done in the podcast, see our faces, get a face for the voice. Check us out on Twitter and see all the updated Dallas tweets that we would like to tweet out and keep everyone updated. I'm just kidding, Dad. But hey, we love you guys. We hope you all have a great week, and we will see you guys next time.
peace.